Adrian, it's your second year with the Packers, and it's a second straight season for you guys in an NFC Championship game. This time it's in your house at Lambeau Field. How much of a difference do you think that makes, even though because of COVID, you can't have a full house, but just to be able to play at home on your turf, on your field, maybe snow even, how much does that impact you guys?
Yeah, either way, we got to go out and execute. But you always want to have even if it's a slight advantage, you want to have that advantage going into a game, especially a game of this magnitude, being home. We're going to have a crowd. It's not the usual crowd of years past, but it's going to be a big crowd. Hopefully it's cold, but either way, we have to get in there. We got to execute. But yes, the familiarity of being at home and going through your normal routine that you do weekly, I think it's a big help.
Nothing about this year has been normal, right? With COVID and the protocols and doing interviews on Zoom and doing virtual meetings with your team and everything. How have you guys kind of bonded? Because it's different when you're not in the locker room as much, right? So, how have you guys bonded over the course of the season, maybe with the new players, new faces, and things of that nature?
I think it's helped us that we had a lot of carryover from last year from a great we started building a great chemistry last year with a lot of guys coming back. I know specifically in the secondary for us, it's basically the same secondary, and we're back and um, you know just in the building, and we're all going through the same things, regardless of going through the same struggles. We all complain about the same things that we have to go through with the different protocols, the different steps that may seem to get old once in a while, but we find ways in between all of those rules to find times within the building to do little things. I know coach does a lot of things as far as competition, in meetings or just the smallest of things that that we've built memories by doing that's gonna that helps us become closer as a team.
You guys improved significantly on defense. You went from 22nd in the league in terms of yards allowed to ninth this season. Adrian, what changed? What helped you guys get into the top 10?
Um, another year with learning the system, with learning each other. Um, I think there were things that we did well last year, and um, but we didn't put it all together. It's things that that we have to improve on this year. But I think the later half of this year, I think we played our best ball on defense. We figured out certain weaknesses that we have that we could get corrected. A lot of things that we had to change were little things. It's never been about the ability of our defense. It's been about letting these one or two plays slide, or one person out of this gap or that gap that we have been continually fixing one by one, and I think that's made us better as a defense.
Well, you're facing a Buccaneers offense that has a lot of weapons. And of course, Tom Brady is the quarterback in charge. It starts with him. What's the toughest thing about facing Tom Brady? And I haven't heard anybody on the Packers do a Chase Young and say, hey, we want the GOAT, we want the GOAT. But what's the toughest thing about facing him?
He's seen everything. He's been in the league for so long. He's seen everything. He's a proven winner. So he knows the little nuances of the position to to try to beat the defense. Trick the defense, beat the defense. Um, so it's we have to be sharp in what we do. We can't just show them the same thing all the time. We can't you can't make it easy for him. We have to make it as hard as possible for him, and get after him a little bit.
They had the 28th ranked rushing offense, but those numbers sometimes kind of lie, and they can run the ball with Fournette and Jones. We saw that last week against New Orleans, 125 yards for both of those guys on 30 carries. So, how do you make sure you don't focus too much on Brady and the weapons he has at receiver and tight end, and don't allow Fournette and Jones to beat you?
When you go into the game, you work on everything, but it's first and foremost you have to stop the run. If you can't, if you can't stop that, then it opens up everything else. So we have to go in there when we watch film throughout this week and we prepare. We have to prepare to stop the run, and we have to prepare, because those early downs are very important. Those early downs, it makes third down a lot harder or a lot easier, based on what you do on the first and second down. So throughout the week, the first thing you work on is first and second down. So, that's going to be important in stopping now.
In your 2 seasons, Adrian, playing with Aaron Rodgers, and before that, you played against him quite a bit as a member of the Chicago Bears. What stands out to you? What has impressed you the most about Aaron, from once being on the other side and now being on his side?
Even when I was with the Bears, I knew the talent he had, and I consider him, one of the greats, if not the best ever, that I've seen. So, just being around him, I just see more of his personality, see more, of how competitive he is, and how he is really a team guy. Like he goes out his way to, to relate to the locker room, as you would call it, and I know, this year he's just been, just pumping positive vibes into the locker room and being that type of person, being that type of leader. So that's the thing that I've learned more about him, is just because a lot of people, you can get your picture of somebody based on what the media shows you, but when you see that person yourself and you talk to him yourself, you see what kind of guy he really is.
As competitive as he is, would it surprise you if he kept on playing into his 40s? I don't know if anybody can do what Tom's doing or what Drew Brees did at 42 and 43, but Aaron's getting up there. Would it surprise you if he keeps going, especially the way he's playing right now, to MVP type caliber?
I think he can play, as long as he wants to. Especially, you just see him in practice. You see him, how he's moving and how he can still throw the ball. I seen him in 2015, and I seen him. That was my rookie in 2015 when I played against him, and I see him now, and his arm strength has not wavered at all. To me, to my eye. I know they got analytics and stuff for that. How hard you're throwing something, but he's still making those cross body throws off balance, no looks, can throw the ball on the roof of the saw him throw the ball on the roof of the Don Hudson Center before. So it's just just little stuff like that, just showing that his body is not like, breaking down on him.
You mentioned relatability with him, and I thought that was pretty important part of a quarterback's role as a leader on a football team. Do you think some guys just do it better than others, because maybe some quarterbacks can be too focused on what they have to do and forget about really leading the entire locker room? Maybe they focus on the offense, but how important is it to be a leader and relate to the offense, the defense, special teams, everyone, 1 through 53 on that roster?
I think that's important, period. Not even just the quarterback position. I feel like you want a lot of guys in the locker room that can relate to multiple people. You want your leaders in your locker room, that people that look, it's just like with a head coach, just with Matt, you play harder for, everybody plays hard, but it just seems like you go out your way for people who, who you like, who you like. So, and who, even if you don't really like them, you respect them. You respect for how they carry themselves. You respect for how they, how they respect you, how they talk for you, how they talk to you. Because, out there and, in the games you plan, but in this game, it's easy to go out there and play for yourself, to try to get stats or this. But when you feel like you're playing for your brothers, and you don't want to let that person next to you down. So, you might hold that block a little bit longer before you, shed and get off and try to get what you need to get done. just that I think that's all important with the chemistry of a team.
Your defensive coordinator, Mike Pettine, is a guy who's been a head coach in the NFL with Cleveland for a couple of years. He's now been in the coordinator role with Green Bay for 3. What do you like about his style, his philosophy, how he goes about playing his defense?
Um, I think he's a good coach, as in, you know what you're going to get from him day in and day out as far as a person. When he's coming in the locker room after a win or loss, he's the same guy. He's calm, he's collected. He analyzes before he speaks. He's not a real emotional guy as far as coaches. A lot of coaches can get down on his team fast, or can get too high on his team. He's never too high, never too low, even keel. And I feel like I think coaches like that have end up having success. Just as far as it's easier to evaluate when you're not emotional.
Adrian, you're obviously more than just an athlete. I know community work is important to you. You have a foundation called I'm Still Here, and it's dedicated to increasing awareness and providing resources for individuals and communities that are often overlooked. And your mission is to increase awareness of Alzheimer's disease while offering support to those who are affected by it. Tell me, man, what inspired you to launch this foundation?
That it's been a part of my life. Alzheimer's initially, that this is something that's a part of my life. As in, my grandma passed away this year. She passed away this year, but she was diagnosed with Alzheimer's around 10 years ago. And I just seen her steady decline. And then even previously, before my grandma, she took care of my great grandma, who also was diagnosed with Alzheimer's. So I saw her, on her latter half of her life as well, with that, struggling with that disease. And, and my grandma was always a very giving person. She was very, she was in the community a lot. And me growing up around her, my father, my mother, like, they've just been, it's just been instilled to me to giving back. When I'm blessed, be a blessing to others. So, just finding different ways. And I knew I was, I've always had a passion for helping kids, helping young kids grow up and try to give them resources as well. So I was just trying to find something where I can join together all the things that, I'm passionate about, and put them into one thing, and to just make a positive change and impact. So with Alzheimer's, and then with underprivileged youth, and then, put those together. And, that's why I came with I'm Still Here, because I just feel like kids in, inner cities, in Baltimore, I'm from Baltimore. So kids in inner cities in Baltimore who are often overlooked. And then the elderly is something that, I feel as though that's a overlooked. Look, with everything going on, the elderly, who are going through Alzheimer's, that have to change their lives, and they have to be cared for.
Tell me about the work last month that you did with the Marion House in Baltimore. I know that they do some work with homelessness and women and their families.
Oh yeah, we just we did a lot of those little fundraisers and giving things like that to raise money and help these families that don't have these resources. A lot of these groups of people that we're helping, without the help and the supplies, even especially during these pandemic times, without the help, without the people that are donating to our foundation, without people that are donating to them, they wouldn't have these resources. They won't have clothes. They won't have the supplies to eat. And a lot of these other nonprofit organizations are, they're struggling for money. So I think that during this pandemic, I think these are the most crucial times than any to donate and to participate and help.
You said you grew up in Baltimore. Were you a Ravens fan, fan of Ray Lewis and those defenses? And what was that like? Did you ever get a chance to meet or play against Ray? Because you entered the league, he was still towards the tail end.
No, he was gone
Oh, okay.
by the time I got here. But yeah, I was a big Ravens fan. That's until I had to go up and start playing against them. That's my team. Um, you know, the first time I played them, it was just like surreal when I played against the Ravens down at MT Bank Stadium. That was surreal, and I scored my first touchdown that game too. So it was a big deal. But yeah, I grew up on defense, Baltimore Ravens defense, and the Ray Lewis, the Ed Reeds, the Lodi Nada, all those guys. I remember vividly the 2000 Ravens Super Bowl against the Giants and everything. So yeah, that was what I grew up on as far as football.
When you talked about the work that you do, you said when you're blessed, be a blessing to others. That's a biblical principle
Yeah.
about helping other people, reaching out to other people. How has your faith guided you in what you do and how you give back to the community? And really, how does it shape everything that you do as a man, as a person, as a football player?
Just growing up, being in the church, influences like my grandma, my mother, that just has instilled the faith into me, and then growing and learning everything for myself, actually diving into the Bible and coming into my faith as my own. I just realized that all of this is not possible, if it's not for God, and that He wants to use me to do, to do His work. So, when I'm out there playing, when I'm out there playing and I'm able to do these things. Yes, I worked hard to do these things, but God has also put me in this position and this platform um, to let His light shine through me. So I'm really strong with how I come off as a man of God, how I come off and how I live my life and the words that I say. And I feel like that's a big role in how I should and I want to live my life.
Psalm 91 seems like it's an important scripture to you. What is significant about it? What do you like about it?
That's something in the beginning of that, like the beginning of Psalm 91, he that dwelleth in the secret place of the land of the Most High. My great grandma, who had Alzheimer's, that's something that stuck with me because when her brain was deteriorating and everything, that's a verse that she always still used to be able to quote. It used to be open on her table, on her nightstand, and all you had to do was start it off for her, and she can recite the whole passage. I'm right now, and I'm in my right mind, and I still can't, I can't fully, word for word say the entire, Psalms 91, but her, losing, she can't remember my name. She can't remember anybody's name around her own kid's name, but she could recite the passage, and she could remember all her songs. She could recite that passage, and that's the reason that verse just sticks with me all the time. Just for something like that, and that was real powerful to me. That that the word never left her.
Wow, that's amazing. That's an incredible story. Well, Adrian, man, I really appreciated this conversation, appreciated your time. Look forward to seeing you out there on the field on Sunday against Tampa, and maybe we'll see you in Tampa at the Super Bowl. You guys got to get through one more. So appreciate you, man, and wish you a ton of blessings.
Oh, thank you for having me.